Hello, 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 you amazing hackers. Hope you're all doing well today. So we are live, and today we're going to try a special thing because two of our subscribers actually, I don't know if they're in the chat right now, but they created this Vulnhub server. Sorry if I can't pronounce that properly. Let's go right onto the page, shall we, for a second? Because let's see here, Vulnhub. Let's just open our Discord real quick so we can just open the link that has been sent to us. That's going to be the fastest, or we can just open the description, of course. That's also going to work. By the way, if you guys want to join this Discord group that I was talking about, feel free to join the description below. Let's look at the page real quick to get some information. So there we go. We have our Vulnhub machine created by the Heart42 and Andreas. Thank you guys so much for creating this machine. It was a real pleasure to do this. We're going to start by helping you guys out since this machine is pretty new, and in a few weeks time we'll release the full walkthrough. So the first thing, of course, you're going to have to download the OVA file, which I already did, and I already opened it in my virtual box. As you can see here, it's really small, but we have something running. Hello, you amazing hackers, great having you with us. So when we have this machine running, of course we need to find out the IP address, because I already had the web page open, as you guys could see, but normally that isn't the intention. So first things first, I want to know what my IP was, so we'll do an ARP scan. There we go, minus list. And it's going to be this system because I recognize all the others, and PCS system, I think. So this is going to be the 192.168.1.21. From now on, we're just going to refer to this host as 21. Now, the first thing I want to do, of course, is start my nmap scan. So we'll do that. Nmap minus SC for default scripts, minus SV for banner enumeration. We'll type in the IP address, so 1.21, and that's it, I think. Let's just scan it. So we're going to run it, and I already know that port 80 is open. You guys should probably know this as well, judging from the fact that I had the website open. So as you can see here, port 80 is open, and we have Apache for 2.4.38. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm of course going to see if this is a vulnerable version of Apache. And I tried looking for some exploits, and you can see there are some things here, but it's not going to be any of these ones. There are some hints in the title, so you can see some include me here, but we'll get back to that later. So the first thing I want to do, of course, is brute force the directory, see if we cannot find anything. So I tried Nikto, I tried GoBuster, and I also tried Burp Pro Content Discovery, so that's the one that I prefer using. What I just do is I right click my target, and then I click Discover Content. You guys can use GoBuster, you guys can use Durbuster. There are some possibilities out there, of course, for directory brute forcing. And in this way we found a few files. As you can see, there's an info.php file that seems interesting, so let's go and check that out, shall we? So when we go to info.php, oh, not file /info.php, of course, we need the website /info.php. And as you can see, I already tried a few things. So when we go to info.php, we can literally see the PHP info. So this is just PHP info is a function that you can call, and you can find all of the information from PHP. Now we don't need this directly, we're going to need this later on a later stage, so we'll note this down for now, and we're just going to go on. Now what I want to do, of course, is come back to this hint. As you can see here, include me. It seems like we're going to have to look for some file inclusion. We're going to have to look for a local file inclusion in this case, because there is a specific exploit that you can use to gain a reverse shell on the machine. Now in this case, what you want to do is we want to try parameter brute forcing, because that's what I usually would do in this case. I would try some parameter brute forcing. So we'll go to just the index.php, for example, And we'll try some parameter brute forcing on here. Sorry about that sound, guys. There we go. By the way, the ferret is awake. If you guys want to see him, here's the boy. If you guys want to see him shake his ass again. Sorry guys. So we have our index.php here. What we want to do is directory brute for parameter brute force it. So we're just going to use the burp for that. Burp free version can do this as well. And what you want to do is you want to send your index.html or your index.php in this case, the one that we want to brute force for parameters. We want to send this one to the intruder. Now I'm going to refer to a video I made a while back. So I recently released a video about which word lists I use. In that video I talk about sec lists a lot. So we'll go back to the sec lists that Daniel Miesler made. Miesler, I hope I pronounced that correctly. And in here you can find a few word lists. Now we're going to specifically use some parameter word lists. So we're going to the discovery folder because we want to discover some web content in this case. And in here we can find a burp parameter list. So we're going to use that one. Burp parameter names, there we go. And we're just going to look at this file in its raw form and then just copy everything that's on here. Then we want to go and create a parameter here. So since we're looking for a parameter and we know we're looking for local file inclusion in this case, I'm just going to go etc password to include the etc password file, and we don't know this, so we know that we want to include the etc password file to see if local file inclusion is possible, but we don't know the parameter name. So we're going to add the parameter specifically to burp intruder, and in the payloads list we're just going to paste all of the names that we just copied from the sec lists. So let's start the attack, shall we, if this will stop scrolling. And when we do that we can see, well, apparently that the test starts twice. So let's end this intruder attack, just use this one. Now we can see a couple of things. If we sort by status, we can see that everything contains a 200 OK code, so we're not going to be able to sort by status. We can see that none of the calls return an error, and we can see that none of them return the timeout. But we can see that the length differs. So if we do this, so if we take the parameter name file name, we can see that we have a length of 1223 bytes, while the other one have 4960 bytes. So that's a big difference. Now, if we look at the responses, we can see where that difference comes from. This page only includes the local file inclusion like we expected, and this page contains the normal web page. So we know that the parameter that we need for local file inclusion in this case is file name. So we'll go back to our website real quick and we'll go and try that. So we'll do a question mark to indicate that we want to start parameters, and we want to ask for the etc password file. Now one thing I want to try real quick is sometimes hackers will put an arbitrary amount of point and a slash in front of it, and they do that to get the etc password file. Now I don't know why exactly they do that, so if you guys know, please let me know, because I'm really curious about that. In some cases it works and in some cases it doesn't. Now on to the next part about this. So we know that we have a local file inclusion, and we know that we have the PHP info. So let's see, LFI PHP info exploit. We'll just start Googling for some ways to exploit this. Now, as you can see, the first thing I found is this page, which is created by this amazing hacker. Thank you very much for creating this exploit for us. And in here we can read that the remote code execution is possible with the help of PHP info and local file inclusion. Now that sounds really interesting. He also said that this script is not his work, so thank you for mentioning that. It's really kind when people mention the real authors, of course. And he says that this script will get remote code execution providing a few factors are in play. So we should have local file inclusion, which we just proven that we have. You can see the PHP info being displayed, which we can. We just saw that on the info.php. And file uploads are set to on in php.ini. This can be tested by looking at the PHP info after a post request, with form data. So what they mean by that is when we go and look at that PHP info file, so we go back to info.php and we go to burp, we can see that in burp in the HTTP history, so proxy tab HTTP history, we made a GET request. We can send this to the repeater. We can create a post request, so we can go, let's see, we should be able to do this automatically. Cannot find the option directly, so we'll just do this manually. We'll make get post and we'll need to include some form data, but we know that this works because we've tested this before, so we're just going to go on with the exploit from here on. Let's go back to the exploit page. So I'm going to go to the chat real quick, see if you guys have any questions. Wow, the chat is exploding. Did not expect that. Hey you guys, how are you doing? Great seeing you. So hi Ampy, how are you doing? Hey Merrick, great that you're here, man. Just came by to say hello and I have to go. Guys, have fun, love. Oh, that's a shame, man. Hey Rat, hope you had a great day. Yeah, I did have a pretty good day. Thank you very much, man. Gotta escalate an open redirect. Good luck in escalating that open redirect, man. No, I don't want to see a ferret work. I'll ignore that. You guys just don't know what good content is, you know. Twerking ferrets, that's the best thing you can ever do. Let's see. // means directory back, we'll go straight to the file. Yeah, I know, but in some cases the // will work, and in some cases the // will not work. So I don't know. I know, of course, that it just tries to go back an arbitrary amount of directories, but I don't know why it works in some instances, and in this instance it just doesn't. So it's really strange. G6, hey, found in cross-site scripting today. Wow, good man. That's really nice. Was it the stored cross-site scripting, or did you find a reflected one? I'm pretty good, thank you very much. I had a really good day, and it's really warm here in Belgium, so of course that's also pretty good. Hey, love back to India, man. You guys are amazing. Like, the Indians are like 50 or 60% of the people that watch my videos, so that's crazy. Love back to you guys, man. All the love in the world. My reason for // is as when you use .. it puts a directory back, so doing it multiple times ensures that you're in the root directory when the possibility of finding etc password is more. Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one, but if I go, for example, just to the index page in this, and I do the .. it doesn't work. So for some reason it doesn't work here. Maybe that's for reasons of PTY shell or something like that. I'm not completely sure, but if you guys have any ideas, let me know, because I'm really interested in that. Now what we have here, so we were talking about exploiting this. Now we can see a file here, and this file has some things that we might need to change. First of all, it's really important that you guys read the exploits that you're using. You should know this by now. I made the mistake of not doing that, and it cost me a couple of hours finding what I was doing wrong, so don't make my mistakes. We'll create a new file because we just want the exploit code here, so we'll create a new file. We'll paste all the code in there. There we go, and then we'll scroll all the way up because here we have to make some changes. Now this is of course my attacking IP, so we're going to change this to 192.168.1.4, and if you're curious how I found that, I just did ifconfig, and there you can see that my EN0 network interface has an IP address of the one that I just typed, 1.4. So that I'm going to change. This is something I'm going to leave for now, and then I'm just going to try this as is. Now this won't work, and this is why I kept telling you guys that you need to read your exploit. So we'll start a netcat. Now when you're running on Linux, you're going to use the Argon's LVP. In my case, I need to actually type in my IP address because I'm on macOS, so 168.1.4. There we go, and then of course the port number, which will be 333 in this case. There we go, so we have our listening netcat instance. Now when we run, so python exploit.py, and for this we need to give the target, so that will be 168.1.21 again. There we go. We need to give the port and we need to give an extra parameter. Now, when we run this file, you guys are going to see that it's going to fail, and it's going to fail telling me no PHP temp name and PHP info output. So as you guys saw from the description of the exploit, let's go right back to it, shall we? It's going to need 3 requirements, and the third requirement was that you could write files, and they give you an example here. This can be tested by looking at the PHP info after a post request with form data. You should see a temporary file created. So that's what it's doing. It's creating a temporary file, and then it's going for local file inclusion to get some remote code execution. So it's creating a remote code execution file on your target, and then it's trying to leverage the local file inclusion to get remote code execution. So to do that, we have a few things that we need to change still because our script is not correct yet. Now, if we go and we look at the word modify, we can see that we still need to modify our request here because our parameter name was file name, not LFI. So let's change that here. There we go. And there's also some other things that we need to do because our host is not called PHP info, but just info.php. So when we save this and we run our exploit again, we can see that it's spawning some worker pools. And because this exploit is exploiting a race condition, you might need to run it several times before you actually get it to work. But now we should be getting, there we go, we should be getting a reverse shell at any moment. Now, this is as far as I will go for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this part. This is just to get you guys started. If you guys want, in a few weeks, I think in about maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I'll release a full walkthrough video of this. The creators should be in the chat as well, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Let's see if we have any more questions from you guys as well. Depends if they use root as user who hosts website, I guess. Yeah, that's also one of my guesses, Mirik. I think it really, okay, it doesn't work here by design. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you very much, Arthur. I did not know that. By the way, sorry for all the filtering that goes on. I have chat moderators now, so I should just remove the chat moderation from Google because you might be directory which contains, yeah, it's by design apparently, so that explains a lot. Now, I don't know if you guys have, hey, okay, so you're the heart. Arthur Donkers is the heart 42, now I understand. If you guys have any questions about this machine, feel free to ask them to him. He is the creator, so he should know a lot about it. If you guys have any more questions for me, feel free to ask them as well. Hey, Black Hat India, how are you doing? AmpY is asking me to talk a little bit about the exploit itself, so let's do that, shall we? Now, the exploit, it consists of several parts. It consists of a daemon, so it's going to try to... First of all, let's explain how this exploit works a little bit. So it's going to try to exploit the PHP info page, and it's going to try to create a file on the temp folder, and it's going to do that by trying to exploit a race condition. So it's going to, first of all, demonize itself, and that's to avoid creating zombie processes that are going to keep spinning on when the program ends. And it's going to, in those processes, it's going to try each time to create the file and exploit the race condition. And when it is successful, it's going to try to exploit local file inclusion to get the file that it just got from the temp folder that it just created in there. And that way we can get the reverse shell back because the file that was just created contains the code for the reverse shell. That's a little bit about how the exploit works. Let's see here, should I learn JavaScript for cross-site scripting? Yeah, that seems like quite a requirement that you learn JavaScript for cross-site scripting, because basic XSS, of course, is really easy, but you can go a lot deeper, and most of the basic attack vectors I know of don't work anymore. You'll have to First of all, you'll have to know the most basic security mechanisms, so content security protection, that kind of stuff is very important that you know it properly. And it's also very important that you understand that cross-site scripting, what kind of impact it can have, because you can do stuff like account takeover by stealing session tokens and that kind of stuff, but you can also do automatic submissions. I don't know if you guys remember the self-retweeting tweet. It was a couple of years ago, and it happened in TweetDeck, and that was because you had a cross-site scripting attack vector that would just hit the retweet button. So everybody that saw that cross-site scripting vector, the script would hit the retweet button, and it would show itself to new people, and that's the way it kept spreading, and how it spread so wild, so fast. That's why I really recommend that you know cross-site scripting. By the way, guys, Arthur Donkers and also Andreas, they are the creators of this machine that we just did. So if you guys have any questions, Arthur is in the chat right now. Feel free to ask them. Also, if you have any questions after the chat or after the live stream, feel free to join our Discord in the description below. They're also in there, which is really interesting. Can you make a video on recon and also bug hunting methodologies, is what Timothy asks. Yeah, I have a playlist on that for now. I'm working on a few more videos, but I'm not sure which ones I'm going to add, because we're also doing some live streams in which we're working on our collective bug bounty methodology. I'm going to open my, let's see here, security testing. There we go. Let's paste this in the chat real quick. So in here you guys can find some methodologies, some checklists like hunting checklist, multi-target recon. And these are things that we build as a community in a live stream. So feel free to use those any way that you feel fit. I will try to complete the machine. Yeah, that's really a good idea. You guys are right now, by the way, where I left you guys off, we are in a PTY shell. So you're going to have to be really careful that you're in this container that you need to escape out of. You're going to have to escape out of this shell, because you're not going to be able to do everything with this user. How I'm going to leave that, guys, up to you. I'm going to quickly recap, by the way. So first of all, we did an ARP scan. With that ARP scan, we were able to, let's go back to here. With that ARP scan, we were able to find the IP address, command ARP scan -L. Then we did an nmap scan. We saw that port 80 was open, so we went there. We found info.php by brute forcing the directories. We need that later on. We also found that index.php has a local file inclusion, so we need to abuse that. And we were able to brute force the parameter using burp intruder. Now, as a last part, we were able to exploit this specific exploit. Let's get back to it real quick. There we go. So it's called LFI PHP info RCE, and you have to remember to read this script carefully and change some of the settings in here. Now that's where we left off. So good luck on that. Yeah, you're also going to be able to. By the way, I'm able to do this because Arthur is one of the people, and Andreas, they are in the Discord, and they have generously allowed me to stream this, so thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that, guys. There are some files on this machine that you're going to need to look for, so just have a look around, you know, where am I? Let's see here, PWD. Okay, so I'm in the root directory. Let's see if we have something in temp. You know, just explore a little bit. Nothing in temp. See what's in here. Alright, so let's see if there are any more questions. That's a big tip, by the way, from Arthur. So if you guys need a tip, Arthur is saying the sysadmin of this machine is lazy. Use that tip as you will. Alright, I don't know if you guys have any more questions. I really enjoyed doing this. We'll do another one soon, and you can expect the Carpe Diem on Try Hack Me in maybe two days. So I would like to thank you very much for watching, everybody. Thank you once again, Andreas and Arthur, for doing this. You guys are amazing, really. Without you, I couldn't be doing this, of course, because first of all, these machines are new, so don't go making write-ups and publishing them on the internet right away, guys. Make sure you wait a little bit. And I hope I'll see you in the next stream, because I really enjoyed doing this, and I hope you guys do as well. Bye bye, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.